This is a special report, Stand Up, Military Kids Against Bullying. From elementary school to high school, we'll take you inside schools in Germany to see how students are combating bullying. Hello and welcome to this special report where we're talking about combating bullying. I'm Sergeant Abigail Waldrop. We're delving into several different aspects of this hot topic issue, and with us today is Dr. Crystal White from Landstuhl Regional Medical Center. So Dr. White, tell us a little bit about your expertise.
So I'm a pediatric psychologist. That means I specialize in children across the areas of all development, and I'm considered a board-certified expert in all areas of child and adolescent psychology and functioning.
Okay, so let's kind of just start the show with what is that official definition of bullying?
Well, that's a great question. The official definition of bullying actually varies between person to person. However, most people agree that bullying is when a kid intimidates another child, and that could be physically, it could be socially, it could be emotionally, or it could be cyberbullying. So there are a couple different ways that a kid can bully another kid. So it's interesting, if you think about the definition, it's one kid intimidating another. But really what it means is one kid is trying to take power away from another child.
And that leads us into our first segment where Technical Sergeant Bert Trainer goes to a local elementary school to see how they're starting early in campaigning against bullying.
At the elementary age level, counselors and school staff really focus on that character education and letting the students know about ways they can help out when students are being bullied, and giving them the skills when they have conflict resolution, and really helping build the foundation for when they get into the older grades, they can focus more on the academics and not have to worry about bullying. And really going about it with showing that you can be kind to people and helping them that way. We are really focusing on when friends are being bullied, being an upstander, not just watching it happen, because that's always when it gets worse, is when nothing is done about it. What can you do when bullying does happen?
Stop it. Stand up. Be an upstander. Not be a bystander. Be an upstander.
Why shouldn't you be a bystander?
Because the bystanders give the bully more power.
An upstander is the opposite of a bystander, because bystanding is just watching somebody else being bullied and not doing what's right. But an upstander is someone who just comes into the fight and says stop, and actually upstands to the person who's being bullied.
You stand up for the person that's getting bullied and you say don't do this to them, and you just walk away from them.
I want people to stand up for others.
It makes me feel good instead of being a bystander, because I might get in trouble.
We can be upstanders by telling the person being bullied to go, like, if they're hurt, go to the school nurse. Say, how about you join me on the playground at recess?
This may look like I'm just sitting out on a bench on the school playground, but this is actually part of a student-led initiative against bullying here at the school. It's so that anyone on the playground is not alone and has a buddy. Hey everybody, how's it going?
Do you need a buddy?
Yeah.
Nice job. A buddy bench. Why are we doing a buddy bench? What does it mean, boys and girls?
If you don't have a buddy, sit on it, then you'll get a buddy. Yay!
So you basically, if you have nobody to play with, you sit on the bench, and then somebody can come up to you and ask you if you want to play with them.
Bench is looking awesome. Some people are new and they don't have anybody to play with. So if they're new, they can just get new friends easier, because some people are lonely sometimes.
People don't always notice that elementary schools and elementary students can be bullied too. We see a lot of verbal bullying. Sometimes they do a lot of physical bullying, just pushing because they're not sure how to solve the resolution. They don't know how to solve the problem, so they end up just pushing someone out of the way or saying something mean to them when once they think it through, they don't always mean it. So we always go through and help them through the steps of conflict resolution.
In my opinion, bullies are actually scared because they just want to find a way to express themselves, but that's not a good way to express themselves.
There was no upstander for me. I was my own upstander.
Yeah, I was my own upstander.
We also see some cyberbullying coming up. We've got a lot of bloggers here, and our students are, 21st century learners, so they're on the computer a lot. And so there is sometimes some cyberbullying, so we need to teach them about that. We see a lot of relational bullying, leaving kids out when they don't like somebody or gossiping about them. Really the same things we see in the upper grades, we see it here, and we're just trying to teach them that it doesn't have to be that way, that they can solve their problems.
Somewhere you shouldn't be.
I think at the elementary age level, the kids are still willing to talk to their parents, and I think really showing them that it's okay to talk about bullying, that you don't have to hide it. We've been really encouraging them that if something happens, it's not tattling, that it is reporting, that you need to let somebody know so it can get stopped. I've found that they're pretty open to it, especially once you start talking about it and letting it not be a hidden secret.
Be an upstander!
So Dr. White, tell us a little bit about maybe the frequency of this occurring, and then specifically within the military community.
Yeah, well, research doesn't really tell us whether or not military kids are more at risk for being bullied than kids that go to civilian school. What we know is that having conflicts with your peers is common across all stages of development, and no matter what, your child is most likely to be at risk for having a conflict with a peer.
Now, with that being said, military kids are moving all the time. Does that really make them more likely to be bullied or be the bully in some cases?
I think lots of families and parents fear that relocating causes their children to be more at risk for a lot of different things, including being a bully. So new kids on the block feel uncomfortable, so they might be easy targets for bullies, or they might want a sense of control and they might try to bully others. However, there's no research showing that relocating makes your kids more likely to be a victim or the aggressor in these certain circumstances.
And that brings us to our next story, where officials at Sembach Middle School are trying out some new ways to prevent the students from bullying each other. MC2 David Cox takes us inside to see how they're curbing the issue.
Parents want their kids to be educated in a safe and positive environment. At Sembach Middle School, officials are working hard to ensure students get the education they need without the unneeded distraction of bullying.
In my tenure here in 5 years, we've never suspended anybody for bullying because we catch it and we take care of it immediately. At the beginning of the year and in the second semester, I meet with all the kids. I meet with the 4th and 5th grade, then I meet with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and we talk about appropriate behavior on the buses, in the hallways, in the classrooms, and bullying is also an element of the talk, and the counselor assists me with that. Also, our counselor, Mr. Mings, runs a guidance class the first semester and has a unit on bullying.
Mr. Mings has counseled several students during his tenure and explains that bullying is not an isolated issue.
If you think of the definition of bullying, where that it's repeated, it's intentional, it is usually the definition revolves around one person having some sort of control or power over another individual. That can happen at any age. Middle school is a prime time when kids start feeling out themselves and how they interact with other people. To prevent bullying from happening, it's a combination of several things. The parents, the school, the students themselves, things that might go unnoticed in one class don't go unnoticed somewhere else, so that everybody's got to be on the same sheet of music. And I'd say parents can be on the lookout for changes in students that are not normal, coming home with unexplained injuries, a change of attitude, Maybe their self-concept takes a nosedive. Just a change in the way they have been in the past is a cause for concern, but doesn't always mean that there's bullying taking place.
Tiara Kinzel became proactive in her school's anti-bullying efforts after helping friends back home with advice on how to confront the bully.
I've just came up to them because I've noticed that they've kind of been acting weird, so I confronted the person and I've talked to them about their issues, and then because they were afraid of talking to somebody because they felt like they would do something wrong, I went up to that person for them and talked to them and the principal has been amazing by confronting them and telling them to stop.
Tiara has also created a Facebook anti-bullying page where students can post comments and get advice on what to do about bullying at school.
There's been a lot of people coming to me for advice and stuff, and I've gotten calls from my friends in the States, and I just decided to make that page so they can just post it instead of kind of call me when I'm in the middle of class or something, and it's really helped them because they've said that with the advice that I've been giving them along with other people that the bullying has stopped and it's just changed their lives.
Simbach Middle School also has several programs that enable new students to interact and acclimate to the school environment at a comfortable pace.
We have a couple of programs. One in particular, Student to Student, is a program that's not specifically designed to take care of bullying, but I believe that it helps in the sense of when a new student comes, we have a system in place to introduce them to other kids. The students are extremely aware of their role in helping new students integrate into the school.
And parents are always afforded the opportunity to come to the school whenever we have any of our assemblies with bullying. And we do, for the most part, work together, and the parents are very supportive of what we're trying to do here to have a very safe, comfortable school.
For parents, one thing there is that they could do also, and that is do their best to have a good relationship with their child, so that if there are incidences of bullying, they will more likely be able to come home and discuss it with them. And if you say you're going to help, and if you say you're going to do something, just like I would say if they come to me, and I say I'm going to do something about it, then by all means do the best you can to follow through so that they can see that you're trustworthy and that you do have their best interests at heart.
Reporting for AFN Europe, I'm Petty Officer David Cox.
So talk to me a little bit about what those kids are that are most at risk for being bullied.
Well, if you look across elementary school students, middle school students, and high school students, the group that has the most bullying are middle schoolers. The reason for that is in elementary, we have lots of peer interactions, but they tend to be cooperative in nature. Might be mildly competitive, but the culture of the school is one of pro-socialness and prevention. So they're talking a lot about how to make friends, how to be a good student, and character. When we shift into middle school, even the development of a middle schooler is more prone to social hierarchies. So middle schoolers are more at risk to do things like emotional bullying. They will exclude kids at the lunchroom in particular. They will spread rumors, and sometimes they will outrightly pick on kids and say things that are pretty hurtful to a middle schooler. The problem with that is that middle schoolers' brains are more receptive to those negative words, and they are more definitely impacted. So middle schoolers are the most at risk for being bullied.
And we've talked about elementary schoolers and middle schoolers. Well, let's see what they're doing in high school. Air Force Staff Sergeant Ben Woken takes us into a local high school and shows what's being done by the students.
Every day, there's a bully, and every day, a victim gets hurt.
Is it better to be feared or loved? That is the question posed by a famous philosopher on war. And the same question teenagers are asking themselves this very day as they choose who and how they'll be at school. It's school. What sort of battle is there to prepare for? It's a battle against bullying. To find out what some students are doing to beat bullying, AFN goes back to school. Was it eye-opening making your video? This group of high schoolers recently took the fight to the bully, producing and acting in a series of anti-bullying videos.
I think it helped, knowing how to actually intervene and to help someone. that is being bullied if you ever see it.
I think that is a lot, because a lot of people do want to help, but they don't know how. You know, you don't want to be like the snitch, but...
Did any of the spots touch on how to help?
You can like just talk to a teacher, and then they can just like, or you can talk to a counselor, and they can help without you having directly going to the person, and that could cause something bigger.
Mr. Wright? Yes. Where do you want us to turn these in?
So kids are using the staff to troubleshoot bullying. One teacher the kids feel comfortable talking to when things go wrong is Mr. Wright. It was his class assignment to make the anti-bullying public service announcement.
All of our students are online. They all have accounts, whether it's a Facebook account or Twitter account or whatever, Instagram now. So the students are online a whole heck of a lot more than they were before. So being able to have a PSA, an anti-bullying PSA with video and with the technology that we have, I think kind of relates to the students better. I think that whenever we're in the pre-production stages, whenever we're storyboarding, I think that the students say, oh, well, I had a friend that this happened to, or I knew something like this happened, and let's make a PSA about that, and maybe that'll help them.
Don't let me catch you doing this again.
So everyone here has Facebook. What else is out there, like Instagram?
Ooh, I want to say a big one for bullying is it's called Ask. And you can set it up basically where you can get anonymous questions from people, and then you put like your link out there so that people can like ask you these questions. And so you're really just opening yourself up to everything people are like too scared to say to your face, you know?
It's anonymous.
Yeah. So that can get pretty like heated.
Do you need to have these cyber videos up there to keep people in cyberspace aware, oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this?
Well, I didn't make a cyber bully video, but I did see it playing a lot on the TV in the main foyer, and I really noticed all the cyberbully videos that were being played. So I think I thought about it when I saw all the videos playing about bullying and making sure that I wasn't a part of it.
With a student-led awareness campaign in place, the school administration couldn't help but notice.
Well, they used the theme Buster, be a bully buster, and they made really nice videos about what it's like to be bullied and what you should do to stop it.
So what should one do to be a bully buster?
You should either, if you don't feel comfortable interfering and stopping at the time by approaching the bully and saying, stop, that's inappropriate, I don't like what you're doing. If you don't like to do that, then you go get an adult, go get another adult and tell an adult someone's being bullied and tell them about it so that the adult can interfere and stop it.
But if a student tells, will anything really get done?
If you get bullied on like Facebook, you can come to the school and tell your counselor or the principal, and you can get the person in trouble for it, for cyberbullying.
So a better way to talk is face-to-face, like these kids were doing in our group conversation. The YouTube seemed to be calling for a dialogue as a form of bully intervention. I was finding that bullying wasn't a huge issue at this school. It seemed the message bullying is not okay was out there in the hallways and in the cyberways. I asked the students to explain their success.
And here, new kids come in all the time, and we're used to it, so we help them.
People like try to, new people fit in really well when they first come here, so like I think a lot of us just learn to adapt because we've moved so much.
And everyone's from completely different, places. It's not like you go to a new school with a bunch of kids that have known each other forever. Everyone's, people from all over the world. And also, though, I think with the military, there's a degree of respect that's expected just in the military community. I think that helps a little bit.
So is it better to be feared or loved? Perhaps it is better not to fear and to love. No bystanders here. The only standing these students are doing is standing up for what's right and sending the message bullying is not okay directly to bullies' inboxes. Staff Sergeant Ben Woken, AFN News.
Take a stand.
There are tons of resources out there on bullying, and here's a website that might be a good place to start, stopbullying.gov. Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. Crystal White, and thank you for lending us your expertise and spending your time with us today. And thank you for tuning in to this special report on combating bullying. I'm Sergeant Abigail Waldrop, and have a great day.